Hey, everybody, we are okay. They're a little soft there, but they're young. They're young. Saw Gino Grande in the back. He was yelling. So we're back here again, live from McCaslin Park for the 2022 SSA Men's 16-inch Class A Glove National Championship, the biggest national championship tournament for 16-inch softball in the country. So kicked off, had two games. George Bliss showed you a ball game. And now we're going to show you Splash in the black, and in the red here is going to be Future. Of course, Future won the Class B SSA National Championship, not this year, but last year in 2021. So they're out here, good-looking young team, a lot of good athletes. And, of course, on the other side, we have Splash. And Splash has had a pretty good history. They're getting better every year. High motors, they play in everything. They're just not afraid. So this should be a good one. Again, this is 16-inch style softball with a twist. It's not the normal Chicago-style ball, as we do wear mitts in this tournament. So we're off to a nice start. Weather's been beautiful. If you get a chance, make plans. Don't be put off by the weather forecast, folks. It's going to be okay, and we got AstroTurf, so we'll get this baby in this weekend. So here we go. This is how Splash is going to go, as you see Future taking the field. Leading off, the center fielder, Sean Quinn. Batting second, James Barron at second base. Batting third, Joe Sadowski playing shortstop. Batting in the cleanup spot is Joey DiGregorio in left. Jake Jakolski in right. Kevin Schumacher extra hitting. Moreno Seminara catching. Scott Koenig at short center. Tom O'Malley pitching. Corey Shue at third base. And Mark Robinson at first base. So we'll set the Future lineup. And third base is Bobby Suchecki. Shortstop is Anthony Valadaparis. Short center, Jack Cafaro. Second baseman, Johnny Capaccitti. First baseman, Sean Rezoko. Man, I'm butchering these names. I'm in fine form. Catcher is Ryan Rogers. Pitcher, Gino Grande. Extra hitter is going to be Brad Moriarty. The outfield, left field, Jake Vallis. Center fielder, JT Redis. And the right fielder, Joey Vandevus. So here we go. Sean Quinn leading off for Splash. This is one of my favorite events of the year. We talk all the time about how this should be on everybody's bucket list because of how good and how competitive it is. Sean Quinn, a little flare there the other way. So we've had some terrific ball games. We do got 4 teams from Iowa coming in. So this tournament always has a little out-of-state flavor to it. And Sean hits a little fly ball, and right fielder gets on it, called it all the way from Jump Street, and makes the easy catch. So good jump there by the right fielder, Joey Vandevus, if I'm saying that right. We may be just going with first names, folks. So here's James Barron, the second baseman. 1 out, nobody on, just underway. So I always love this tournament because a lot of these kids are going to graduate, and some of these teams will graduate, and they'll end up playing major ball. So we get a look at them when they're just kind of starting out. And James Barron, of course, he is a legacy kid. Of course, Kenny Barron and Richie Barron, good bloodlines. And there's a line drive base hit into right, a little fumble. Play at second, throw off line. Good job by James Barron, was paying attention. And the outfield here is a little dry. And we may be seeing some crazy bounces because of that. Brings up the third place hitter, Joe Sadowski. And Joe hits a ball toward the gap. Center fielder read it all the way. Tag. Throw to third's not going to be in time. That'll be the second out of the inning. So he gave it a decent ride. And again, it's a very calm night. Really no wind. And they've kind of added some things here. Now they have. Thanks, Travis. I appreciate it. So that's going to bring up Joey DiGregorio, the left fielder. So they actually have put up roofs on the dugouts. That's going to help the players when it gets warm out here. And another touch that they have is they put little flags at the top of the foul pole. So if you're an outfielder, you'll be able, if it gets windy out here, to be able to gauge that. And right now, flags are limp, not moving at all. And we'll try to zoom in on that in between innings. And Joey swings, hits it down the line, and that's going to drift foul. So they got a decent amount of foul territory here. And you can see it slopes down. That's for drainage. And we'll show you those flags if I can zoom in. You can't really see them because they're kind of a green color. And they're not as big as you'd like them. You'd like them a tad bigger for some of us old guys. So again, runner on third, 2 outs. Splash trying to take the first lead of the ball game. And Joey DiGregorio pounds it on the ground. Third baseman, a little bobble, throw, not in time, and Splash take the first lead of the ball game, 1-0. Again, we are playing open count. It is a national championship tournament. So Joey beats it onto the ground. Third baseman had a little bit of a problem with it. Brings up Jake Jakelski. And Splash the early lead. Splash has been known sometimes when they get on a roll, they can score a lot of runs. And sometimes with the glove on turf, it's a little weird because we tend to play no glove all summer. And all of a sudden you're wearing a glove, which sometimes can feel a little foreign. And Jake swings. Nice play by the second baseman as he read it all the way. But at the end of a half an inning, Splash does take the lead. And I did not bring my pen with me. So they take the lead. So as I was saying, you got to get used to the ball coming off the turf. And this is different turf than what we see in the dome. It's a little more spongy, if that makes sense. And so you got to kind of get used to that a little bit. So sometimes you can get fooled. And I'm a big believer that I think sometimes when you play on a hard dirt infield, the ball will scoot on it faster than you'll get on this turf. So a lot of times it takes you, a little while just to get used to it. And I didn't really mention it that last half inning, but Future's infield was actually playing kind of tight. So as they adapt and adjust, you're always better playing maybe a hair deeper. Most of the time you're going to get a good hop so you can aggressively charge the ball on turf. So leading off here, it's going to be Johnny Cappuccini, the second baseman. Takes a strike there.
Your wheels good.
So like we say, Splash been around Future. And there's a slash the other way, base hit. Leadoff man on. He takes the turn but shuts it down. Nice job there by the left fielder, DiGregorio, to get it in. Leadoff man on. Congratulations. I believe Future plays up in Arlington Heights at Menace. And I believe they did win their league championship this year. So here's Sean, the first baseman. Sean, a pretty big kid. Going to jockey here a little bit, get you a better view. He takes that. And there's a swing and a line drive. Nice catch there. Terrific read by James Barron. Went and he made it look easy. Little backhand stab with the mitt. No advancement. Good job by the base runner there. I think sometimes, too, when you start playing with the gloves, you got to remember a couple of those balls that might get through normally do get snagged. So here's Jake Vallis, the left fielder. One out, one on here. And this kid Johnny at first, I'm pretty sure he's going to score on a stretch single. And the Splash outfield is deep across the board. And there's a rocket the other way, and left fielder gets there, and he throws it in. So the ball was hit hard toward the gap, but a nice job there by the left fielder again, Joey DiGregorio. He got over there, made it look pretty easy. No advancement. So here's Anthony Valder Paris, the shortstop. So we'll see here with 2 outs if Future can try to push it. We know Johnny's going to be flying on the swing. Think it's a no-brainer. And there's my pet peeve. Throw back, he dives in safe. Again, that's my pet peeve. So these are tremendously big infields. They play a lot of hard ball here, even though it's only 300. But they have very, very large infields because they use the 90-foot bases. And there's a ground ball up the middle, short center, throw a little high. It's going to go back, and now he's going to try to score, and he will. And now Anthony hustles into second base. So that was a situation. Short center, Scott Koenig, is usually very dependable. You can see he's wiping his hand. And that ball just kind of sailed on him. Anthony ducked down to avoid the contact. Throw got away. And they pick up a run. We're all tied here at 1. So here's another legacy kid. Ground ball, Scott Koenig. And that's on the money, and that'll be the 3rd out. So Scotty's really rubbing his hand. Again, that's part of the problem with turf is there's no dirt. So a lot of times when guys sweat, there's nothing to dry it up. But getting back to this big infield, reason why I bring it up is sometimes the outfielders kind of lose track of where they're playing. Because you're talking about an infield that is probably more than 120 feet if you go from home plate to where the grass kicks in. So as a result, sometimes an outfielder sees that where the turf ends, and they play kind of where they would be playing if they were on a shorter cut dirt type infield. So sometimes you get a little deeper than you think because of the optical illusion. Now, the right fielder is okay, in my opinion. Center fielder, left fielder, really deep. So here we go now. Leading off is going to be Kevin Schumacher. Kevin will be followed by Moreno Seminara and Scott Koenig. Pitch a little flat. So we're 1-1 top of the second between Splash and Future. And both of these teams, I tell you, they're capable of long runs in this tournament. And there's a swing and a high fly ball. Center fielder danced with it a little bit, but made the catch. So we're glad you're joining us on a Thursday night. Of course, we'll have a couple of ball games for you tomorrow night as well. And then on Saturday, we're going to try to show you a few ball games. So here's Moreno now. Nobody on. And there's a little fly ball, and that's going to drift out of play, and that'll be an error on Doc. You guys know him from Dynasty. I don't know if that was Joe Rogers or Tim Bulger, but they're arcing the poor guy. Tough crowd. Of course, Doc, long-time guy with the Kings, and, of course, now helps out Chicago Dynasty. Good to see him. Heard Doc had a couple of health issues, but it's good to see him out and about. So here's Moreno. So we set the park up this afternoon, got the banners up, the bunting, and we're ready to go. So make plans tomorrow. It should be okay. And Moreno, little flip shot, but again, another nice jump by the right fielder, Joey Vandervoos. That's twice. So here's Scott Koenig. So we got ourselves 2 outs here in the inning. Little heavy pitch. Koenig, nice job by the center fielder, JT Redis, as he got there without much hassle. And we're going to head now to the bottom of the second, a 1-1 tie. So again, two young clubs. And Future got a lot of kids that were hardball players. So they just started playing more 16-inch. I know when they won the B and they got their championship hats, they were like in seventh heaven. So leading off here, it's going to be Bobby Suchecki, JT Redis, and Jack Cafaro. And if you recognize the third base coach, that's Anthony Stacy. So brother Dominic plays on the team, but apparently he's in Poland on vacation. So, of course, Anthony plays with that money line team, and say it all the time, all he does is hit. He grabs a strike, 2 strikes. So both teams have a run, and both runs were benefited by throwing errors, which allowed runners to score. There's a little chopper. Scotty Koenig cuts it off, and he makes the play. And I tell you, Scotty is got a lot of mileage, but he can still play defense. And I tell you, as he's gotten older, he's learned to hit a lot more. So here's JT Redis. And JT hits a humpback into center for a base hit. So 1 out base runner here for Future. Brings up to short center now, Jack Cafaro. Gino Grande is on deck. So both of these teams. And there's a sky-high can of corn for the right fielder. He puts it away as Gio bans another scammer trying to climb onto our stream. So it's always interesting because on a Thursday and Friday night, everybody is excited. You know, they're in the national championship, the biggest event of the summer from a team standpoint. And everybody, it's like the opening day of spring training. Everybody thinks they got a shot at the title. And then as we get into Saturday and the grind of the loser's bracket, some of that enthusiasm can be stripped from you. But for the winners, there's a little pop-up, and that's going to be caught for the third out. So Gino Grande pops out to the shortstop. We head to the second, still 1-1, or the third, excuse me. So the live stream is powered by Gold Rush Gaming. If you're a bar or restaurant and you're thinking of putting slots in your establishment, call Gold Rush Gaming at 630-307-0500 or email them at inquiries@goldrushgaming.com. Gold Rush also the name sponsor of the 2022 Men's Major National Championship out in Joliet. We'll be doing a women's event as well that weekend, which Gold Rush is also a part of. And we are going to we haven't announced it yet, but we will next week. So here's the leadoff man. Line drive base hit there for Tom O'Malley. You might recognize Tom O'Malley from the Papa Hops tournament. So that's going to bring up Corey Shue, the third baseman. Corey's on my all facial hair team, as he's got the long Duck Dynasty kind of beard. And there's a sky-high fly ball. Left fielder got a beat on it. Jake Vallis puts that away. And that's out number one. I'm going to do that, I think. I might walk around and try to gather some of these guys on Saturday with the terrific facial hair. So that's going to bring up Marky Robinson, the first baseman. 1 out, 1 on, in a 1-1 tie. So Gold Rush Gaming, they're good people to do business with. Please gamble responsibly and give them a chance to win your business and tell them you heard about them on the live stream. So Marky Robinson takes that for a strike. Of course, Marky also a legacy kid. This game is chock full of them. I'm trying to look at both teams. And unfortunately, there's no former Mudville guys on here. So here's Mark Robinson. And he tries to slash it right at the shortstop. And they get O'Malley for the 6-3 double play. Again, O'Malley took a couple of aggressive steps there. And again, with the gloves, you can't be that aggressive. You got to kind of watch and make sure it gets through. So we get to the bottom of the third in a 1-1 tie. It's going to be Brad Moriarty, the extra hitter, Joey Vandevoos, the right fielder, and then Johnny Cappuccini, the second baseman. So this is kind of what we expect because, like I said, these two teams are at the A level pretty good. All week, people have been asking me about who my favorite was. And I got to tell you, I keep telling them I don't know who the favorite is. You know, and the reason I say that is I don't know if we have teams that can really string that 6 games to go clean or to go clean into the winter bracket championship. And I think that the competition level is so close that there are probably 7-8 teams that could walk out of here and maybe a dark horse. And there's a humpback that gets through. So Brad Moriarty turning the clock back, a little humpback line drive, leadoff hit. And it brings up Joey Vandevoos. And if I'm butchering anybody's name, I apologize. And, of course, a lot of what dictates who's a favorite and not is who's healthy and who's got, pretty much all of their guys out. For example, there are guys that get dropped from teams that are pretty good players. And there's a line drive to the gap, and DiGregorio makes the catch. This might be a play. No, Brad hustles back. So Joey, he makes another fine running catch in right field. He got it in, but unfortunately it went over the cutoff guy, and that allowed Brad Moriarty, who had gotten all the way to the bag, to have to come running back hard. So 1 out. I think Brad said he's 60. So here's Joey, and he skies it as he looked like he was trying to go hard to right center. Didn't quite barrel up on it. Yeah, he sure was, Lorena. And so, like I said, a lot of it comes down. Here's Sean, the first baseman. So, like I said, a lot of this comes down to who's healthy and who's got their guys here. And there's a base hit. Brad Moriarty, all 60 years of them, they're going to send him, and he's going to score on the triple into the right center field gap. So big ball there by Sean. He puts Future back ahead. Again, we got 300-foot fences, and that's what I mean by sometimes you're not necessarily playing deep enough. That ball got into the alley, and on this hard grass, it rolled a little bit. 2-out triple, 2-1 Future. Here comes Jake Vallis, the left fielder. For some reason, my... So that ball was stung pretty good. Okay, that looks like a good view. So 2-1 count. And there's a little chopper up the middle. Scotty Koenig, he had a little trouble getting it out of his glove. And, you can rewind the tape there. So we got ourselves a 2-1 ball game. Obviously, Future didn't like the call. And, of course, everybody's always wound up. So here we go now. We're going to head top of the fourth. We got a 2-1 ball game. Not a lot of offense on a pretty good hitter's night. Well, like I say, folks, players make mistakes. Managers make mistakes. If an umpire, you think he makes a mistake, you got to cut him some slack because they're out here doing the best they can. And, sometimes leadoff man Sean Quinn, top of the lineup here. People go crazy. And he doesn't have the benefit of the replay like some of you do at home. After Sean, it'll be James Barron and Joe Sadowski. So trailing by 1, Splash has got the top of their lineup up. Just can't seem to get the view I want. And Sean Quinn flares it the other way, and that's a foul ball, not by much. Normally, when a guy tries to walk the dog down the line, he knows whether it's going to be fair or foul. You probably saw Sean was really eyeballing that for a long time as he thought it had a chance to be fair, but just faded. And there's a little flare down the line. Left fielder's going to get there and make the catch. And he stayed in play. So 1 out brings up James Barron. So if you're Splash now, you are the visitor.
And I don't know if Jerry Brown's on the broadcast, but Jerry, you can tell now we're in the fifth, and neither team has generated quite a lot of offense. So this is the type of game where you might want to play a little small ball. And James Barron, a hard cut, and that's going to be a base hit. Of course, Richie Barron, terrific cutter who could also drive the ball, and so was Kenny Barron. So here's Joe Sadowski. As I think I saw the first mosquito in about. And there's a ground ball to Grande over to short center, and they twist for the double play. So nicely done. Gino Grande got it over to the short center, Jack Cafaro, and he fired it over to Sean at first, so they twist. And we're going to head to the bottom of the fourth in a 2-1 ball game. So we'll see if Future gets a little juice out of that as they lead 2-1 here. And it looks like leading off is going to be number 18, Anthony Valdeperis. And then we're going to get Ryan Rogers and Bobby Suchecki. So it's been a pretty good ball game. Seen some nice catches in the outfield. Again, both teams have an unearned run. The second run Future got courtesy of Sean, their big first baseman, bombing a 2-out triple. So Anthony here trying to get on for Ryan. There's a ground ball, nicely done by Shu. The spin, the throw, in time. In time. That was nicely done there by Corey Shu. Took about 2 or 3 steps to his left, did a 360, and fired a strike to first. Again, another bang-bang play. That's one of the things about turf. It's quick. It really does play quick. Now, the problem you got here is you got a first base umpire who's about 7 feet away. So if you're going to go and ask for help, it's awful hard for the home plate umpire to overturn that. And there's a ball hit into the gap, and that's going to be at least 2. Throw in is not going to be in time. So Ryan Rogers stroked a line drive toward the gap there. And they got a 1-out base runner at second, leading 2-1. That's a big run. So here we go. Bobby Suchecki, the third baseman, has got a chance to push this lead out with a base hit. And with only 1 out, that's great hustle. And there's a little ground ball to second. James Barron makes the play, but the runner does advance, but there's 2 outs. Again, I was just about to say with the runner on second and 1 out, it's a 2-for-1 deal where you get 2 hacks at it. Here's J.T. Reedus, the center fielder. So, and that's a little flare. That could be trouble. Long run. And he makes the catch. He makes the catch. Jake Jakelski makes the catch. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Little highlight reel right in your living room. So that was a terrific catch there. We thought it was trouble when it left the bat, and it was. But Jake on his horse made a sliding, diving catch. Well, not sliding, but a little bit of a dive. And he was fired up. So the score remains 2-1 as we head to the fifth. Tension continues to build here in a 1-run game. It's anybody's game. And here comes Joey DiGregorio having a great game out in left field today. Joey's also got a hit in the ball game. He'll be followed by that guy who just ended the last half inning, Jake, and then Kevin Schumacher. So we'll see if that ignites the splash team. So right now, both teams they're both battling. They're both battling hard, but they haven't been able to really to put anything on the scoreboard. And again, some good leather. So here's DiGregorio, and he hits it, and there's a leadoff hit as DiGregorio strokes another base hit. Big run, and here's Jake. Now, Jake can come this way. Tried to go between first and second his first at-bat, but the second baseman got a good jump on it and jumped it. So we'll see where to go. And again, if you're Splash, you want to tie the game up if you can. So let's see if he tries to come this way again and at least try to get that leadoff man over to second. Because again, once you get him there, it's 2 for 1. And there's a little fly ball, and the center fielder, Ritas, cut in front of the right fielder. It's a good job there that Ritas was talking, but it's kind of a bad job in the sense that JT was running away from second base. It would have been an easier catch and throw for the right fielder. But no harm, no foul. Brings up Kevin Schumacher. And I'm not a fan of this because you got your first baseman. He's given up real estate, and he won't be set defensively. And you can see he's only getting about a foot off the bag. And that kind of forces your second baseman to have to cover more ground. And then that conversely leaves space up the middle. So there's a fly ball. Ritas will put it away. So when you're managing a team, you got to understand that defense is like choreographed ballet. And if one guy is off the program and not with the program, it'll weaken you in other spots. So here's Moreno Seminara, 2 outs now, and they have yet to move the base runner, DiGregorio. I'd like to congratulate Shane Lawler. You might be able to see it on the back of the shirt. Shane got married over the weekend to Sammy. And there's a little ground ball. He stays down, and that'll be the 3rd out. So we're going to head bottom of the 5th inning, still 2-1. There's a big blowout over at Bourbon Street. Congratulations. So again, right now, if you're future, things are kind of going your way here, but you're playing with fire. And there's my guy, Coach. Coach taking pictures live on the broadcast. Look at him. He's 110, but he can still get down. Coach, of course, not that old. Young in spirit. So here we go, leading off. It's going to be number 11, Jake Cafaro, the short center. And Jack will be followed by Gino Grande and Brad Moriarty. And again, I think, I think we're definitely at the stage now where, we need to, if I'm running the club, we need to manufacture some runs. So sometimes, even with the young group, you gotta lay it down for them. And there's a leadoff base hit. Big turn, little bobble. He thought about it, but he did not go. So here's a pinch hitter, Tim Bulger. Of course, Tim works for Gold Rush Gaming, one of our terrific sponsors. So 1 out, 1 on. See what Timmy does. Timmy's got facial hair, but it's more distinguished looking than Duck Dynasty looking. So I don't think he's going to make the facial hair cut if I put that together over the weekend, although he looks good. So Tom O'Malley trying to keep the score here. And there's a line drive base hit as Timmy Bulger throws it out. Easily making it into third is Corfano. Got a good read on that. That was about a 12-foot high line drive. He read it beautifully. And just like that, you got runners on the corner, nobody out. Here's Brad Moriarty. A little surprised that they didn't react. Well, he hit for Gino, who's an older player as well. That's going to score a run. And Timmy Bulger sliding in, almost slid past the bag, but he reached back and he grabbed it. Running pretty good for a 50-plus dude.
You almost went into left field.
And that's the other thing. When you play on turf, you got to keep in mind that when you slide, you will slide and travel. So 1 out, 3-1 ball game. His future picks up a run. And here's Joey Vandervoos, the right fielder. And they're pretty deep. I think on a base hit, Timmy Bulger, from what he showed me. There's a ground ball to third. Corey Shue in time for out number 2. I like what the shortstop did there. He was not a spectator. You saw Joe Sadowski cut behind Corey Shue and cover third base, kids. That's important. And here's the leadoff man now, Johnny Cappuccini, the second baseman. And there's a sky-high fly ball, and that's going to be the third out on the infield. Johnny, a little anxious, just lunged at that pitch. But in the inning, they pick up the third run, courtesy of a Tim Bulger pinch hit. Timmy hit that ball hard. You can tell, though, he's a big dude. Obviously gets into the gym, and it helped there. So we're going to head to the top of the 6th, 3-1. Now, as we say, the game is getting short on the splash guys. Again, they don't have the hammer. And they need to start manufacturing a run. And like I said, I'm very surprised because it's a pretty good day to swing the bats. So we put a little mileage on. I got one of these watches that tracks your steps now. And Gio's at 14,270 today. Not bad for an old man. So here's the leadoff man, Scott Koenig, be followed by Tom O'Malley, and then that guy, Corey Shue. Scotty takes that pitch inside. And again, these, I remember when I had my younger groups, and the last time I was in a dugout, I was helping the scrubs out. My guy, Danny Somalia, leadoff hit, Koenig second, I believe, of the game. And they'll run for him now. And it looks like the pinch runner is Glenn Quinn. So I used to tell my team, and I told that team, and, you know, very young Justin Smykowski and Nick Martin, there were some good players on that team. And there's a little swing by the pitcher. Reedus is there, no tag, and he'll throw it in, out number 1. And we were playing, forgot the team. It was Jeff Thielson's team. And we were trailing, and I think it was like 3-1 or something. At about this time of the game, Shue hits a fly ball, no tag. That's a mistake. You got to take advantage of that. The left fielder is backpedaling, and he's going to end up trying to throw off his back foot. He just isn't going to throw you out. So now here comes Mark Robinson. And again, Splash has not done a good job tonight on moving their base runners. So I remember telling the scrub team, hey, we're in a national championship tournament. Jeff's ball club there, Top Fleet, thank you, Moach. Top Fleet was one of the better A teams at that time. Had some really nice players. And I said, we're right where we want to be, man. Let's have some fun. And all of a sudden they loosened up. And Justin hit a bomb that short hopped the fence out here in right field. Yeah, this fence that's 300 feet away. And we ended up winning that ball game. The rest of the weekend didn't quite go like we wanted it to, but for one day, we were at the top of the mountain. Sorry, folks, just trying to get the camera to snap into better focus. Of course, Justin, now a member of Flashback, tearing it up at the major level. Talking with Bob Russ Jr. and Jeff Hernandez, they both think he might be the best player in 16-inch softball. And we saw him when he was just a young pup out here in Carroll Stream. That's why we tell you it is the bottom of the sixth, Tony. 3-1 future leading Splash. So here's Sean. And there's a line drive base hit. So Sean had the big triple that put him ahead 2-1. Now he smokes a double. Now I want to say he got a hit in the first. He's a home run away from the cycle, I think. So here's Jake Vallis, the left fielder, leadoff man on. Again, now you got a 3-for-1 opportunity here to pick up your fourth run. And with nobody out, he should be hitting the ball to the right side to pick up the easy, potentially easy RBI for the next hitter. And where he wants to hit it is right here at James Barron. He's the deepest infielder and would certainly get the runner over to third. Now it's 3-0 as O'Malley falls behind. And good patience as he waits it out. But the job doesn't change here. If you're Anthony and you're coming up to bat, you want to make sure you can, at a minimum, get both of these guys over. And he just pounds it up the middle. And they're going to send Sean. He'll score 4-1 ball game future. So Anthony wasted no time, saw the first pitch and hammered it up the middle. 4-1 future. Leading Splash. Now Splash going to talk about it as you still got nobody out, first and second. Tell you, I like this future team is playing very good defense. We've seen them score more runs than they have tonight, but this is just one of those games where runs have been tough to come by. Splash is hanging in there. They had the one bobble to give up a run, but other than that, they haven't made any mistakes defensively. So big hit there by Anthony. It brings up Ryan Rogers. Smoked a hit his last time up. And there's a sky high. That'll be an infield fly rule. And that'll be out number one. Again, if you're a young player, sometimes you so want to drive the ball. And here's Bobby Suchecki. That you just swing out of your shoes and your swing falls apart. So what you got to do is just take a breath. You got that adrenaline coursing through your veins, and there's a ball. Jake catches it. One runner will advance. James Barron hustling it in. Now we got runners on the corner, 2 out. Brings up JT Rita. So what you got to do as a hitter is just breathe a little bit, calm yourself down, and then you can channel that adrenaline into your swing. So here's JT, runners on the corner with 2 outs, and they're not playing him too deep. If he hits a line drive toward a gap, he might touch them all, especially with how hard the carpet is out there. And Rita's skies it. DiGregorio put that away. But in the inning, another run. We head to a do-or-die top of the 7th. 4-1 Future leading Splash. So Future going to try to seal the deal here. Splash going to try to upend the apple cart. So we'll see if we got ourselves a fantastic finish or not. It's been, both of those errors that led to the unearned runs were in the first inning. So since then, been a very clean ball game. 2 young teams fighting it out. Again, in a 32-team double elimination tournament, you don't want to go in the loser's bracket early. And really, in any national championship tournament, you want to try to go clean the first 3 rounds. Because you get dumped into the loser's bracket and 2 things happen. You got to play a lot of games and a lot of extra innings that can really wear you down. And 2, if you're getting upsets, you might run into a team you didn't expect to see in the loser's bracket, and that makes it double tough. Sean Quinn is going to lead off the top of the 7th with the base hit. So nice job there by Sean. Took a low pitch, dropped the head on it. He didn't try to do too much. He did what I like to call, he sat through the swing, which means when he went down to get it, he didn't stand up prematurely while swinging. And that way he was allowed to have a more level swing and just flip it into center field. So here's James Barron trying to back that up. Again, if you're Splash, you need 1 more base runner to be dangerous. Trail him by 3. And these last 3 outs are always tough to get. And James Barron is going to punch that way foul and out of play. Young lady flips it over, and we'll be back to softball here. Again, you're up 3. Sean Quinn really doesn't mean anything. I'd prefer to have my first baseman back at a normal position. There's a ground ball over to short center, and they turn the double play. Little ground ball, and they turn it. And now down to their last out, it's going to be Joe Sadowski. So Splash has hit into a couple of double plays. They've hit into a couple of ground ball double plays that I believe Gino started. And then they hit into a line drive double play to the shortstop who threw across for the double play. So it's tough to score in a 7-inning game when you've got hit into 3 double plays. And there's a fly ball, and the right fielder got turned around. And that ball's going to roll to the wall. Sadowski is cruising. They're going to send him, and he hits a home run. Makes it a 4-2 game. And again, I think he got a little surprised. He wasn't playing too deep, and that is the toughest ball there. That ball that's hit right over the top of an outfielder when you don't have an angle side to side on it, and all of a sudden you're trying to You're trying to get your bearings. So 4-2, here's Joey DiGregorio. He's going to try to get on base so they can put the tie in the box. And he swings and he hits it right at the left fielder, and Future holds on. They defeat Splash 4-2. Late home run there by Joe Sadowski, but not enough. Well played game by Future. You can tell the gloves don't bother them at all defensively. Splash played a good ball game. They just couldn't get their offense rolling. So disappointing if you're Splash, but you're not out of the event. So you just got to keep fighting. And you can see the Splash kids obviously happy. And see if we can grab a word with Joe Rogers. Joe, so what'd you think? How'd your kids play today?
Kids played good. I was very happy for them. They haven't played a lot in tournaments this year, but this is our second one, and they're enjoying it. We played a very good team. Splash is a very good team. It was an outstanding game. We appreciate it.
Well, I think your group has certainly got a chance to do some damage here. And what do you think? Are you guys going to follow up that B title with an A title?
I hope so. I mean, these kids are committed. They're excited to be here this weekend. SSA puts on a good tournament, and we're looking forward to Saturday.
Okay, that's Joe Rogers. He's a sweetheart. His club looked good tonight, and they are one of the teams you want to kind of watch a little bit. So live from McCaslin Park, the live stream powered by Gold Rush Gaming. This is Gio saying, tune in all weekend. We're going to have plenty of softball for you, interviews, and all kinds of great stuff. And you see the Diesels, they won today big as they beat Oil. So we're going to sign off. Thanks for tuning in. Live from McCaslin Park, this is Gio saying we'll see you soon.